Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, but you can call me Ems. I am here for another yarn podcast. A little bit of yarny love all up in your inbox today. So it's been 4 weeks and I think maybe I can make this a monthly thing. Wouldn't that be really fun? So most exciting, number one thing today, the day that I'm uploading this, I released my first ever knitting pattern. Waffles on Sunday Cowl. If you were at the last podcast, you will remember the Waffles on Sunday Cowl. So in testing, I had this size here, which is now the size adult large. This is how it looks on me. I'm a large adult, as you can tell. So this is like kind of like the perfect cowl size for me. It's not choking me, but it is like still staying pretty close to the neck. Keeps me nice and warm. But in testing, we realized that we needed some smaller sizes. So in testing, we came up with the size medium. And at the end of testing, seeing some people finish the size medium, I decided to add a size small, which I have not made a sample for, but I did basically remove the same number of stitches as for the medium. So from here to here and then here to another small, which on me would be like pretty chokery, but on some smaller people, it would probably be the perfect fit. It does have measurements in the pattern, so take a look at that. I will link it on Ravelry down below. This is the sample that one of my testers, Anne, knit for me. She kept the size medium for herself and gave me the size large, since the size large is my size. So I just want to take a quick moment to thank Moa of Haunts Design and to thank Ailey Makes and Mends, as well as Anne, my in-person tester, for testing the pattern, helping me out with the pattern, giving me constructive feedback, and helping me just make it as best as it can be for its release. And I released it today at lunchtime at work. It's now currently after work, and I'm making this video. So thank you guys so much for helping me out there. As usual, next we're going into our works in progress. So I have less works in progress this time, which is great. So the first work in progress is a test crochet that I'm doing called the Cordelia Classic Jumper, or the Cordelia Classic Pullover. I forget what it's called, but I'll link the Instagram of the designer down below because it's not out yet, but I am working on the test crochet right now and having a good time with that. This is my current work in progress. It's not technically a color work jumper. I'm just using up old pieces of Briggs & Little yarn. I'm literally going through all my Briggs & Little and I'm putting on a new color when I get to a new ball. So that's what I'm doing. I don't care what colors they are. I'm just tying them on and we're going for it. This was my swatch, if you can see the texture there. This is also Briggs & Little, but this was a hand-dyed Briggs & Little. But I did the swatch in this, so you can kind of see how much more floppy and soft it gets once blocked, and how the stitches kind of fill in themselves. The next one is the Basketweaver Socks by Stephen West Knits. This is the current work in progress. I don't know if you can see there's little eyelet holes, there you go, eyelet holes, and it alternates knits and purls with these eyelet holes to make this basket weave pattern. And I'm using the sock set called Santa's Workshop, which is from Sweet Skein of mine that I got at Christmas time last year at the Etsy market. So I've been holding on to this for a few months, but figured I'd cast on a sock because I wanted a sock on needles. So we have that on my 6-inch Chia Goose because I like It's very comically tiny in my hands to knit with these, but I really like them. Makes sock knitting go really quickly. It was a great thing to get. And then of course, when I was working on the mystery, like the surprise sock along, which I did frog, hot foreshadowing there, but I did frog it, but I did get these for that. And then Anne, the one who tested for me, gave me another set of these little ones because she doesn't like the little circle. So gave them to me. So I now have 2 little needles like this. So I could work 2 at a time if I wanted to. I didn't really want to. So I'm just working on this as we go. And I think it's a really fun variegated color. I think that this green was a great pick because it does show up throughout the sock. So I think that's super fun. The next work in progress is my August square for the Stitch and Scream make along, crochet along blanket with alt knots. So the August square is the berry stitch. And this is, again, Karen Cinnamon Swirl Cakes in Heat Wave. So I thought this was a very August colorway. I thought it just kind of screamed August to me, just because it's like August is usually the hottest month and it just looks warm, you know? And it's the berry stitch, which is actually quite fun textured stitch. It's a 2-row repeat. What more could you want in a simple blanket square? So I've not gotten a lot done on it, but what I've done I think is really nice. And I'm catching up. Slowly but surely, I'm catching up. Next, we have the Salty Days sweater from Veronica Lindberg, who is Kutovakika here on YouTube. I will tag her information down below, but I have basically just swatched. So this is my swatch. It's actually a little bit too small, which I expected. I'm a tight knitter. Seeing her videos, I know she is not a tight knitter. So I knew I would have needed to size up to a size 6mm needle, but I swatched on a 5 anyway, which it does have lots of stretch, but it really is not meeting, like at the point where I like it, it is not meeting gauge. I only need to go up 1 needle size, which is great, to go up to a 6. And this is with some rescued stash yarn from one of my Knit Night people. She gave me a sweater's quantity of this. It is the Patton's True North DK in the color Deep Rose, which is discontinued yarn, but it's beautiful and it's a whole sweater's quantity. Like my size sweater's quantity, not like average size person sweater's quantity, which is awesome. So I'm going to be working on the Salty Days sweater, which I'm excited to do because I think it's really pretty. I love the stitches. It looks so flowy and airy by using such a big needle compared to the yarn size. So I think it would be really nice to shorten the sleeves maybe to a t-shirt. I might go full sleeve. We'll see where we land. So those are my works in progress. So quickly, I'd like to jump into a little bit of an update on my new skill, which is spinning with the drop spindle. So I did work some more until my cob was full. The cob is that on the spindle. And I tried plying it. I have a very beautiful knot now. It's a bit of a mess. I tried plying from a center and outer pole ball and it didn't work out. In fact, I actually broke my ball winder trying to put this into a ball. So yeah, this was my ball winder from Loops and Threads. As you can see, this is spinning, this is not going. This arm is meant to go back and forth, and the spring broke in there. And I don't know if it's fixable because I can't get in there. So it's a little bit SOL. So there's that. So I think my next yarn, which this is going to be the yarn that I actually do use for the project, is going to be this yarn. So I've decided that I will just spin it thicker, so I'm not going to ply it. I'm going to work with it as a singles yarn. So I'm spinning it thicker so that it can be around a worsted weight single. So purposefully making it a little thick. So this is what I have so far. I'm working with some Briggs & Little wool that I got just like in a bag, just a bag of wool, at 3 bags full in Moncton, New Brunswick, which was when I went to the Moncton Zoo in the summer. So this is what we have so far. It's a lot easier to work with because it's not superwash merino. Who was I thinking I was, starting it with superwash merino? This is what I ended up with. This is like the end, but like, I don't think I did a bad job. I just think that the plying went wrong. And before anyone says it in the comments, I did spin it, like ply it, the opposite direction that I spun it. So I don't know what happened, but I'm thinking, because this is my first yarn that I made, even though it's not usable, I'm thinking of putting it into one of those Christmas balls from Michael's, those clear ones, having it put into one of those balls, and then like having that as like a little Christmas ball, because I think that would be really nice to just honor my first try at spinning. The actual spinning went really well. Plying, not so much. So we're working on it. But it's always good to realize that sometimes you may fail at a new skill, and that's okay. So the next thing is that I have some new yarn and some new tools. Speaking of a broken ball winder, you know what I needed to get? A new ball winder. So I picked up one from Knit Picks. This is, well, it's the Knit Picks brand, but I got it at Fabricville. Because they carry Knit Picks tools. So I got the Knit Picks ball winder. Later in this video, I'm going to show me unboxing it and setting it up and giving it a little spin. So stay tuned for that if you really enjoyed the last 2 Winding Wednesdays I had. Yeah, this is why I didn't continue with that. Uh-oh. So, gonna give that a try. Very exciting. I then also got some new needle tips from Knit Picks. I do prefer the Chiagu needles now, but I have a bunch of the Knit Picks cables, so it's nice to have lots of needle tips so I can have multiple whips on the go if I want to, because if I'm inspired to cast something on, I want to cast it on. If I have the yarn and I'm inspired to do it, I'm just going to let myself cast it on, because I will finish it eventually, because I will eventually feel guilty for not finishing it. But I got 6mm for the Salty Days sweater, and I got 7mm because I'm going to be making Jay a sweater. Curse be damned. I'm going a little bit the way of Wool Needle's hands with the Break the Curse knit along that she did, I think, earlier in the year or last year. I was like binge watching Wool Needle's hands recently, so shout out to Wool Needle's hands. I really like your videos. And it's always very nice when you like and comment back on my comments. I feel very loved and seen. So I'm going to be working on those. And then I got some white, I think it's actually, yeah, it's muslin. The muslin Croy sock yarn, because I like mixing this with colorful mini skeins, foreshadowing. I like mixing this with colorful mini skeins to make socks, especially since I actually really like how thick Croy sock yarn is for heels, toes, and cuffs, because those are a bit more hard-wearing areas for me. So I like that this is thicker, and then I can use really nice hand-dyed mini skeins to go with these in like a color work or striped sock. So I'm enjoying this, especially since I have the West Knits Year of Socks ebook. So I'm getting a new sock pattern every month, which is really fun. And there's lots of color work socks in there where he's mixing it with, it's mostly like stripes, but using like slip stitches to make these designs, as he tends to do. Very fun. So speaking of hand-dyed mini skeins, I went to the Gagetown Fiber Gathering once again this year, which, if you don't recall, was my second ever Yarny podcast last year, where I talked all about going there, and I had a couple of clips from there. I did take my phone, and that's what I film with, but I didn't take any video while there this year. I just wanted to go and enjoy it, especially since I was with two of the ladies for my knit night, and I don't know if they want to be on my YouTube channel or not. And I also just wanted to experience it and have a nice time. It was really hot that day, so trying to think of filming was like, no, not happening. No, thank you. I got home that day and I went for a nap, which is why I didn't film right after it like I did last year. So excited. Let's start with our old favorite on this channel, Sweet Skein of mine. I got her Fallen Leaves mini skein set. Ah, it's so cute. I'm gonna open it up so that you can see the colors. So there's this olive green. Smells very sheepy. Got this olive green. Got this beautiful, I would call it like a caramel color, because it's like not quite yellow, not quite orange, but it's definitely that deep, pretty color. We have a gorgeous brown, like mid-tone brown. We have a beautiful, beautiful bricky red. It kind of goes with my nails, actually. Pardon the like chip on my nail. I was doing some work with my hands and it chipped, but it kind of goes with my nails. And it's really pretty, like denim blue. And I think that these together with muslin, but like in like a really fun stripe, maybe the painting triangle sock from West Knits. I think that'll be really fun and really, really beautiful. So this is the Fallen Leaves set. I love this little tag that she made. Like, she hand stamped it and everything. Amanda's amazing. If y'all don't follow Amanda, go check out her YouTube channel. She does videos every so often and did Vlogmas last year, which was so fun to see. This is 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 80 yards per mini skein, and they are 20 grams a piece. So 20 times 5, that is 100 grams. That's a full 100 grams of sock yarn right there. Really, really beautiful. I'm gonna throw it back in its little baggie, just so that it's nice and safe until I wind it. And speaking once again of mini skein sets, I got this one from Purl Yarns. They call it their heel and toe skeins, or their turtle toes, because it's meant for like the heels and toes of socks. How pretty is that little rainbow set? So this is, yeah, heel and toe skeins bundle, 6 skeins of classic turtle toes, 115 yards or 25 grams each. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It is, of course, a fingering weight. Really beautiful. Let's once again take it out of this bag so that we can take a closer look at all of these colors. We have this bright, bright red. Very beautiful. It's a little more blue toned in person, but my light here is a bit yellow toned, so it looks a little more orange on the camera. But it's a more blue toned red in person. We have orange, a bright orange, beautiful. We have this really pretty, like marigoldy kind of yellow, I guess. Maybe even dandelion yellow. We have this really pretty emeraldy green, bright emeraldy green. We have this kind of turquoisey blue. And then this really pretty bright but deep, if that makes sense, plummy purple. These, I think, once again, going with the muslin to do like a painting honeycombs sock. I think that's the vibe that we're going for. Into the bag you go for safekeeping and protection. Not putting them back nicely again, unfortunately. So those are my new acquirees in my world. On to finish objects. So first, of course, is the June square for the Stitch and Scream. And that is the wide half double crochet. This is actually a really fun stitch to do. I have never done the wide half double crochet, but I think I'd do it again. I think it would make a really nice cardigan in the fall. It's very fun. It's like a tall moss stitch. It's like doing moss stitch with half double crochet almost. So very, very cool. It's got hair all over it, as you do. And this is, again, Karen Cinnamon Swirl Cakes yarn from Michaels. I have no idea what the name of this color is because I have well lost the band. Just throwing things on the floor that hopefully I'll remember to pick up later. So the next one is the July square. Since I'm working on August, of course there's July, which is the pike stitch, which is, again, kind of like a moss stitch, but a little bit different. So that's the pike stitch. It's very stretchy. As you can kind of see, it stretches out and over. It's got lots of stretch to it, which is very nice for like cardigans and clothes, but this is part of a blanket, but there you go. I thought that this colorway, oh yeah, the June colors, the browns, I thought were kind of like coffee shops. And I think of like coffee shops in like June when I'm going out to hang out with friends and read books. And then this one in July reminds me of the beach because of the sandy colors, the oceany blues. Really fun. As talked about earlier, I did end up frogging my surprise sock along sock from West Knits because I ended up not liking the sock. But I made the Sophie Scarf where I marled the two colors together. This is Ashitaka. The blue is Ashitaka. And the pinky peachy color that you see there is Irontown, which is by Typical Bliss from her Princess Mononoke collection. So it got a little scrunched because of how I had it hanging on the hook by the door, but just a little. Ta-da! It feels very Parisian. I don't know why, but I think it's really cute. It's nice just to warm the neck if it's a little nippy out. So I just keep it out by the door on a hook for if I ever really need just a little quick thing, or I could place it on my head in this way and tie it back here for a little hair wrap, or the same for on the back this way and tying it up the front. So a couple of different ways to wear it. I think it's pretty stinking cute. Then I also finished the Barley Hat that we talked about in the last episode. It ended up a little large, but it still looks really nice on me. So I'm going to keep it and not give it away. So this is the hat. Da-da-da. You can see that mohair poking through where it kind of looks tweedy, which I really like that effect. But I don't like this decrease on the crown of the head, this pinwheel decrease. Not a big fan of that. I think maybe if I did it in a different, if I had it in a smaller hat it might look better, but because this hat's so big, it's very like in your face. But this is the hat, which it actually looks like a nice slouchy hat, so it kind of works, you know? It's not the intended fit I was looking for in the hat, but it ended up slouchy and kind of hipstery coffee shop fun. Really, really warm with that mohair, especially because it's Briggs & Little yarn, the Briggs & Little Heritage, which is super, super warm. Nice and thick, almost Aran weight. I usually use it in worsted weight projects, but it really is kind of an Aran weight yarn. But I'm still quite happy with how the hat turned out, and I'll definitely be making more hats. You guys, last but certainly not least, bum, 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 I have my Montmartre sweater, my Montmartre jumper. I'm gonna get up and show you. With the sleeves, they're all done. Oh my goodness. I'm going to insert some pictures here. And as you can see, that was so freaking beautiful, and I rock it, and I'm just a lovely Victorian lady walking through a library. That's what it makes me feel, and ain't no one can tell me any different. I'm so stoked about this frickin' sweater. I love it. It's my baby. I'm so pleased with the sweater. Honestly, it was worth the wait that it took me almost a year to make, namely because of all the breaks I took from it to do other things. But I'm so pleased with it. It's a really rustic yarn. It's Briggs & Little Sport, which is a singles yarn, and it's really rustic and has beautiful texture. The colors are beautiful. I used brown heather, which you can see has a lot of different colors within it. And then I also used gold and rust. So brown heather, gold, and rust. I ended up steam blocking this bad boy just because I was worried about it stretching a lot, since I would like to be able to wear it both with and without a corset, so I didn't want it to stretch at all. So I just laid it flat, steamed it, and I'm kind of careful about how I fold it now so that it's keeping a nice shape when I put it in the drawer. So I'm just feeling so dreamy about it, and I love it so much. And to finish off, of course, as I said, I'm going to unbox my ball winder and get it moving. So I will say goodbye here, but stick around if you want to see me put this thing together. Bye, guys.